Coach Reniya, are you ready?
Yeah, I mean, ACC games are a battle, we know that, and they gave us a real battle. I thought we really came out flat in the first half, and that made our job a little bit harder. They answered the call, though, because at halftime I really challenged them to remember what they're about and how they want to perform. In the second half, shooting, we forced them to 30% versus 60%. It makes a big difference. Reniya's a dog, Alyssa's a dog, that certainly helps. And they played the way that we needed them to play in the second half.
You addressed your message at halftime, but second straight game, you guys came out with amazing energy in the first few minutes of the third quarter. Was it a similar vibe in both games, or was it different today?
The games were really different than it was. It took a lot of emotional and physical energy on Thursday, to be sure. We obviously battled a lot of foul trouble, so that's another thing. And I just thought they came out flat, and they'll have to answer to that. I thought at halftime they quickly made the adjustment of understanding the urgency that they need, and we'll continue to work with their urgency moving forward.
Was it defense that really fueled it?
I thought defensively I didn't recognize what we were doing. We just weren't urgent. That's kind of what it comes down to.
After halftime.
Oh yeah, defensively we were much more urgent. I mean, they shot 30%. We forced 30% field goal percentage versus 60 in the first half. So yeah, defensively we were much better, which allows you to score against a non-set defense. It also just you play better offense when you're more connected and you play with urgency defensively, right? Because you're not you're just better. That's quite frankly how I'll say it.
That third quarter was so big for you guys. In the first half, you didn't have any fast break points, and then it was almost 6 points in succession with Alyssa and India. So how big was just getting out in transition and just forcing that pace against the Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, we're only going to have Alyssa for a bit longer, right? And so to have a rim runner like that, to not take advantage of it it's not great, right? And it requires us to get steals. It also requires us to get the ball out of our hands. It also requires us to play with urgency. And I thought in the second half we did a much better job of that.
Alyssa, after last game, 11 turnovers, you go without a turnover today, and then in the second half, you guys went from 10 turnovers in the first half to only 5 in the second half. What's been the difference for you and then for the team in the second half in eliminating those?
Yeah, I think I think it starts for us on the defensive end. So when we get stops together, we feel a little more connected on offense, and the offensive flow is better because a lot of turnovers typically come from miscommunications or not seeing the out. So if we're trying to force the ball into Maria and we don't see that corner skip, so that's usually where turnovers can come from, especially for me. So just being able to slow down and just continue to do things that we can control, which is on the defensive end, and then that translates into the O end.
You had 3 layups within 33 seconds at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just rolling in transition, right?
Yeah, that's just team defense, getting a defensive board and looking up the court and passing ahead. I think we're really hard to guard in transition, especially obviously because Ria and I and the rest of our posts can run the floor, but we also have a lot of great passers and girls that can space the floor by just fading out to the 3-point line. So they kind of have to pick their poison.
Reniya, your floor game, obviously you had no turnovers today and were pretty efficient. Just talk about the efficiency today.
I think today was really a challenge just because, we needed leadership, and I think that's the biggest thing I tried to focus on each game, and I think I did that this game. So proud of myself for that. I think also just taking command of each position was really big this game too, just making sure I put my teammates in the best position to score and, to make the extra pass or whatever.
Coach, you said that Reniya is a dog. What did you see from her today specifically?
What I love is that, I say it to the TV whenever when we do our pregame, I'm like, she's just, what you're going to get. You're going to like watching this point guard run our team, right? And now the ovation for her is getting bigger. And I remember that with Alyssa, right? When she first got here. And then now, of course, when you announce her name, it's like the whole place erupts. And Reniya's really starting to get that, which is showing how much the fans appreciate what she does. I think her, like she said, spot on. I mean, she's got to command our possessions and lead our team. And she's only a sophomore, and she's doing it really, really well. Really well, I think. She celebrates others. She challenges others. She leads by example. Her effort is never in question. believe me, we find stuff on every possession that we can do better, but it's never an effort thing for these two, never, and I think when you have that type of leadership, it really helps. So yeah, she's a dog.
How much more important was that when Lexi and India go to the bench with 3 fouls in the first half and are sitting for so long, and you have to depend on your bench?
Yeah, we celebrated them in the locker room. The bench really was what we needed. Alyssa and Maria had 2 in the first 5 minutes of the last game. The fouls are, and we didn't foul as much when we were more aggressive, right? So they've got to own that with how we play. So yeah, it's why you call it a team. And I know there's games where, Blanca was really great, and games where Sierra's really great, and games where Laney's really great. I mean, we see them every day. They're stacking days.
Can I ask you about the turnovers? The previous 3 halves, up until the first half, or 4 halves, you piled up the turnovers. Then you only had 5 in the second half, and I think 2 of those were offensive fouls. What weren't you doing on the previous halves, and what did you do in the second half?
Alyssa took better care of it. I mean, quite honestly, and she has the ball in her hands as a facilitator a ton, and so when she takes better care of it, that number stays down for kind of the group as well. Reniya's got pretty sure hands there, and I think then you start to say, well, the way that you have to kind of read how their defense is playing you, right? And so sometimes they are a little slower to adjust to that than others, but. It's ball control matters, and we've been really good at it over the course of our season so far. And when we're not, it hurts us. But we've been pretty good at it all year.
Reniya, as you run the point, you played the entire third quarter when there was that big surge. How important is it for you to push that pace?
I mean, as a point guard, you always want to push pace. You know what I mean? I think we have some great runners, India, Alyssa, Lexi. You can go on. I think we all want to push the ball, and I think it's just the best opportunity to push it when we get an offensive rebound or defensive rebound we can go. So I think that was the biggest thing for the third quarter.
And you played the entire second and third quarters. Just what is it like to know that your team and your coach trust you like that?
I mean, it's a blessing, honestly. Everyone wants to play, but I'm just really honored that I can play and my body is healthy enough to play, because Lord knows. So, yeah.
When I asked you about Maria's touches, I mean, she got 6 shots. It seems like it's hard to get her touches inside. Is it just the way the offense is being run, or what's going on there?
No, I mean, I told the guys at one of the timeouts, the secret's out, right? Everyone knows Maria's the best post player in the league, so they're prioritizing that, right? And it's really physical, and she has to absorb a lot of contact, right? And so it's a little bit easier when you're not the feature guy to get touches, right? Alyssa's lived that life, right? It's harder when you're featured, and she's having an unbelievable year and is really valuable, and people know that. So they're making it. They meet her early. Again, she has to absorb a lot of physicality. So our priority is to get the best shot, and that's often finding her. But if they're going to spend that much energy on her, then it's going to be for somebody else. And we've just got to keep working through those possessions.
She was visibly frustrated by the officiating in the Duke game, and it's just something she's got to work through, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the physicality of the game is what it is, right? I think she's, like all of them, she's frustrated when she's not performing at a level that helps us win that possession, right? I don't know if she's as frustrated about the other team as she is, gosh, because we talk about this as a group. It's not about what everybody else is doing, it's about what we're doing, right? So I think I don't find her any more frustrated. I think she just wants to make sure that she's helping our team win at all times.
Alyssa, what is it like just playing with Reniya, especially today in the third quarter when you guys were really just so instrumental in that surge?
Yeah, I think Coach pointed out, but Reniya is still only a sophomore, and sometimes I don't like saying that because time flies so fast, and you're like, oh wait, now she's already whatever, but it's just it's very admirable, and she's earned my respect in that regard because she's been able to develop so fast throughout practices to be able to command a team on the court, because having a point guard that can first of all can score and can get her own, can facilitate for other people, and kind of keep the temperature of the team on the court steady, that's just very, very hard to find. And I think also just as a 5th-year senior, that's something that I'm wow, I got really lucky and blessed with Reniya's ability to step into that role. Okay, stop. No, it's still. But
we do love Reniya.
Yeah, so no, it's so helpful, and I feel like her and I are both pretty even keeled when games are going, so we can have a quick conversation, hey, what do we need to do? because sometimes I'll like say, hey, I think we should run that play again. Like they really messed up this screen with India and Maria. We're gonna either get it again or Maria's gonna be open this time. So being able to have that dialogue is really helpful too, because I can kind of tell her from the post perspective, like what I'm seeing as well.
Reniya, what was that reaction? You didn't want to hear the praise, or
I
what?
just love this team. Like, I'm just blessed to be here, and like for her to say that really like meant a lot, because it takes a lot to be a point guard, have to run a team with so many different personalities, and like that's big for me. So yeah, that was good.
She's the best.
Lower body injury for Trey, is that what we're
Yes.
saying? And then what is her status for the next game, you think?
We hope she's available. We always hope.
Just thankful you got the guard depth this year.
Yeah. Thank God. On that note, boom. We got it.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.